Good evening, Ruskin Jewers. How do you know? It's time for Profit Review. Last week we discussed the November 7, 2024 Rustor, and that means today we're here to discuss November 14. So sit back and relax. I'm going to start yapping. Now, before I do that, I understand some of you might be new to this. You probably don't realise what the focus of the video is, so I'll quickly explain right now. Basically, with every single Rustor that we see, I will return to it 4 weeks later. I want to see how everything turned out. Did everything match up to our expectations? And if not, I have to sit here and explain why. Now, of course, with every Rustor that we see, I'm always trying to figure out what potentially would be a very nice investment for the week. I always make some predictions. Was I correct? And if I wasn't, well, you can hold me accountable. Simple as. Right then, so let's talk about the initial reaction when I first saw this Rustor. My initial reaction? That's not complete the sets. Oh. Hey, I knew it was going to happen in November. I just didn't really specifically know what date. I know. But anyway, only 8 skins. Well, that only reinforced the idea that the upcoming Complete the Sets Rustor was going to be very big. Okay, I'm looking forward to that. That's fine. And at the end of the day, we still saw some very interesting collection continuations. Commando, Neon Bismuth, Ultramarine, now with armor. Ooh, Greening Area, Nuke Room. All right, fine. It's acceptable. We're not going to complain. But one thing we haven't even talked about yet is the Metallic Beast Bearskin Rug. The first bearskin rug to be accepted in 2024, and in total, at that specific point, we only had 7 skins in total. Now, instantly, I'm assuming, oh, surely that's a nice positive for it, a sheer lack of options. But was everything going to be A-OK? Well, we'll talk more about that in a bit. So, yeah, not that big of a Rustor. Interesting collection continuations. So let's talk about the predictions. When I looked at all the skins, what was I thinking that was potentially going to be the best investment for the week? And by default, I instantly jumped in and assumed the Metallic Beast was going to be the perfect. So the points I was bringing up was the most recent bearskin rugs that we had were the gingerbread bearskin rug and the zombie bearskin rug. But I did acknowledge one specific point. Both of these skins, initially, when they first became marketable, they did dip down in price pretty badly. From what I can recall, gingerbread bearskin rug went all the way down to about 80 cents at one point. But during November, this was selling for over $3. So, okay. The point I was trying to get across is, yeah, initially, something like this would probably go down in price a bit, but eventually, when people realise, well, where are all the bearskin rugs? How come we're not seeing any more bearskin rugs? Due to a sheer lack of options, eventually it could work out ever so nicely. Okay, right, so I guess that's fine, but it's not exactly the best instant gratification sort of investment, but still, I just felt reasonably confident in it. Now, the next skin I felt reasonably confident in was the Commando SAR. So previously, we had a Commando AK-47, and when you actually look at the designs of these two weapon skins, you might notice that they look exactly the same as their blackout counterparts, which you can see right over here. Currently now selling at $6, and back then when I first saw it, it was about $6 to $7 if I can recall. So yes, looking at the Commando weapons, I thought maybe we could sort of see some emulated behaviour. At this specific point back in November 2024, the AK was slightly down in price. But I kept looking at the people, like when I was addressing this, and saying, with that only down to about 20% of its value, surely in the future, if there were to be an interesting new continuation that would appear for this collection, maybe things would work out for the AK. Well, the SAR appeared, nothing really budged too much with this. It probably needed something else. Anyway, so, okay, the SAR was in a prime spot, and with its design very similar to the Blackout SAR, which cost about 2 to 3 times more expensive. I mean, I'm sure a lot of people would be appreciating that for a much more affordable price. So, okay, maybe it doesn't sell too recklessly, too ridiculously, and in the future it'll work out quite nicely. So, yeah, I was optimistic with it to a certain point. Then I talked about the Ultramarine, tier 3 armor, and I was pleasantly surprised to see it. So, from deplorables to armor, would everything work out perfectly? Would we actually see any continuations appear very quickly? Well, we had to wait it out. But by default, if we were to see hoodie and pants and tier 2 being produced and accepted in the future, of course that's going to spike demand, spike in price. It was something we were fully expecting. Did we see the continuations appear literally the very next weekend? Well, we'll have to wait a bit, won't we? And then with the Neon Bismuth Sheet Matador, I was very conflicted with this one. I was well aware at this specific point that the Neon Bismuth collection was doing very nicely. The garage door, the double doors, they were up in price oh so nicely, nice and profitable. And that happened pretty quickly, like that just instantly went up in price. Would the Sheet Matador emulate the behaviour? Or would it end up like most Sheet Matadors in 2024? We've been through this so much this year. constantly talking about sheet metal doors in 2024 and how they haven't really done a very good job of retaining their value. Do you see a single sheet metal door there that's in the positive? No. So, yeah, I was cautious. I could see it working out ever so nicely purely based on the collection that it's part of, but I could also worry that it probably would do pretty badly in retaining all of its value. So maybe a smart barter would be the way to go about it. All right, understood. And then I looked at the two deplorables here. Greening area with another skin accepted. Well, I feel like that was pretty interesting to keep an eye on. Were we going to see another interesting collection continuation potentially appearing in the future? Well, who knows? But it kind of needed it. Because with the arrival of this, it caused the double door from the previous week to instantly go up in price. It needed more skins to be accepted, so I was not 100% confident with that. And then Nuke Room small box, part of the Nuke Room collection. The deplorable collection, which had quite a lot of acceptances in 2024, but wasn't really holding up very nicely. It really didn't look like it had that much demand. Well then, could we see any nice things progress from here? Could we see any more continuations? I was feeling reasonably hopeful, but with the state that Nuke Room was in at that specific point, I thought I was just going to stick with doing a Barda. And then Alto to make AK-47. How unfortunate. Like, with the skin, nothing wrong with it. I'm not, blaming the skin itself. But it came out literally just after the Blue Gem AK-47 Twitch drop came out. Bit awkward with the timing. So, yeah, it wasn't really going to stand a chance. It was expected to go down to less than $1. It was just expected. Right, then, let's talk about the progression with sales. Sorry. Here you go. Right, so, with the first 24 hours of sales, the Metallic Beast was selling very nicely with almost 10,000 subscribers. So, all right. Clearly, people are aware that we don't get that many bearskin rugs. If it's selling nicely, the next question was it actually going to retain its value and, do pretty good in the future as an investment? So, all right. We needed to see how much it was likely to sell by, the end of the week. But it definitely was looking like it's going to do at least over 20,000 subscribers. Cool. Commando Prevails. It turned out that it looked like it was definitely going to end up selling less than the AK-47. Which was, of course, very promising because at the end of the day, if there's not that many of them in circulation and, something nice does happen in the future, all the better for it to rise up in price. The Neon Bismuth sheet metal door definitely looked like the first door skin to not sell too ridiculously. If I can recall, all the previous doors did do over about or close to around 20,000 subscribers. That one looked like it's going to probably at best reach up to about 15,000. So, okay, that's cool. Ultramarine Tier 3, not really selling that much. So, in the future, if we do see more core pieces, Tier 2 armor, hoodie and pants, that very likely be rising up in price ever so nicely if it only ends up with just barely around 12,000 subscribers. Okay. And then the two deplorables here, the boxes, again, just not really selling that much. I thought maybe the greening area large box, when I first saw it, maybe it probably won't sell as much like the Oasis large box. But at this point, yeah, it was selling quite a fair bit. It was definitely going to sell more than the Oasis box at the very least. And the AK, like I said, just incredibly bad timing for it. So, with that out of the way, we have to talk about how things progressed in regards to the abnormal barders. So let's talk about that next. So here we were on the night of November 20, and, well, these weren't that much in terms of sales. Like Metallic Beast, I was projecting it to do comfortably over 20,000 subscribers. Nope, on the night, 19,000 subscribers. Okay, then maybe that was looking promising then. The Commando Prevails, not even 13,000 subscribers. And then the sheet metal door, just over 12,000 subscribers. Ultramarine Tier 3, barely 10,000 subscribers. Like, things were looking pretty interesting. Things were looking pretty good. So, what was the suggestion with the prices? So I looked at Metallic Beast, and I did talk about this. I couldn't help but assume in the future that we probably won't be seeing that many bearskin rugs being produced. Christmas was still around the corner. We could still expect some Christmas skins to be produced. Will they be accepted? Don't know. But I knew very well that throughout all of 2024, we only had so many good-looking bearskin rug designs being submitted to the workshop. So it felt reasonable to assume that we won't be seeing another bearskin rug, at least for maybe another year. So, okay. But still, the worry of what happened to the Halloween bearskin rug from 2 years before and the Christmas bearskin rug that happened the year before, they did go down pretty cheap initially. So I took that all into consideration, and for a $2 skin, I thought we could do 90 cents to $1.30. I was cautious. I was wanting to play it a bit safe. I couldn't help but assume that behaviour would likely happen all over again. With the Commando Prevails, I felt optimistic for it, but I didn't want to go too strong in it. I was well aware at this specific point that with the Commando SAR, it very likely would emulate the behaviour of the AK-47, and at its worst, the AK went down to negative 20%, which was basically $2. It also sold at $2.49, and down by 20% would obviously led it to $2. So, okay, maybe the exact same scenario would happen with the SAR, so I suggested $1.20 to $1.80. When I looked at the Neon Bismuth sheet with the door, I was not 100% sure how to approach this. A $3 skin, so it's quite pricey. That probably led to the lack of sales. Interesting. If we were to see another Neon Bismuth design being accepted in the future, what do you reckon might happen to the sheet in the door? By default, you'd assume it would spike in price. But with sheet in the doors this year, especially ones part of collections and whatnot, whilst we have seen spikes in demand that led to sheet in the doors going up in price a bit, they never really held and instantly went down again. Again, remember, with all the sheet in the doors that came out in 2024, they're all down in price at the moment still. They're all in the negative, all in the red. So unfortunate, but it was something we had to be aware of. So I looked at the sheet in the door and I thought, you know what? Okay, I'll play extra safe and then a little bit more, a little bit more brave because I do two buy orders. I went with $1.50 to $2.20. We were expecting, after all the lovely times during Christmas and post-Christmas, after that it's February, March and April, the springtime, the Easter dip. We know that quite a fair bit of people stop playing for a while and they're just probably going to dump their skins on the Steam market. More people selling rather than buying. It leads to prices going down. And that very likely will be going down pretty hard if the Neon Bismuth collection doesn't retain, some decent interest. So, okay, yeah. So I played it a bit safe. With the Ultramarine Tier 3, with it not really selling that much, and over the weekend we did see Tier 2 armor being produced. Alright, things were looking pretty sweet. I went with 90 cents to $1.30. I wasn't sure, I wasn't feeling super confident we're going to get an instant continuation. There was part of me that was still reasonably optimistic, but I usually see how these things usually play out. I wasn't feeling super confident, so Tier 3 armor, 90 cents to $1.30. Maybe I'll pick up a decent amount of them. Maybe the price retains decently. Well, we'll talk about that in a bit, won't we? Greening area large box. Not exactly super confident with it. I went with $1 to $1.50 for a $2.49 skin. That's okay. I was aware that there was a rug that was submitted. I wasn't 100% sure it was going to be accepted. Blah blah blah. We basically said this with the Ultramarine and the Neon Bismuth sheet in the door. Whilst continuations had been produced, would they appear in the complete the sets rush store? And would there be 2 weeks to complete the sets? Wasn't sure about that. Anyway, next skin, Nuke Room, small storage. It didn't sell that much, with only 8,000 subscribers at that specific point. I was interested, but small box skins up to this year, none of them were really retaining value very nicely. Nuke Room collection, not exactly retaining value very nicely. I went with 80 cents to $1.20. Wasn't feeling confident. And then the AK-47, the Owl Totem, if I could just, skip ahead a little bit here so we can actually see what the sales look like. Not even 5,000 subscribers. Again, incredibly bad timing. And yet, still 60 cents to 80 cents. Just didn't have any faith in it. Yep, like most AK-47s, it goes down in price, and very likely that was going to go below $1. So, it is what it is. Right then, let's talk about, how things turned out. What was the outcome? Metallic Beast did go down in price. It's 99 cents. So, yeah, I didn't think it would go that low, but it did. But it was quite slow. And as you can see, we still have this guy right here with 348 quantity. He's a trooper. He's holding on strong. But as you look at the actual listings, it's not that bad. It's 5, 3, 2, 8, 2, 1. It's like, there's no 50s or 100s there. Whilst we do have quite a lot of listings, and it might take a while for this to rise back up in price, with a sheer lack of new bearskin rug options, that could easily rise back up again. I was aware from the past that with these bearskin rugs, they very likely will dip below pretty badly initially. That has clearly happened there. But I suggested 90 cents to $1.30, so that obviously, well, I will sit here and say this, whilst it's still within the range, some of us did put down $1.30 buy orders. So it was sort of correct, but not great. So yeah, I will kind of put my hand up and say I was partly wrong there. Sorry to say. But yeah, did you buy any of these with a buy order? Did you actually buy any of these, with your own money? Feel free to comment below and whatnot. But yeah, so we're now in this position. And could things improve? Well, I hope so. Now, just to remind you, we've been through this before with the other, the previous two bearskin rugs. This is going to take some time. you probably might see this bounce back up around the summer of 2025. All right, cool. That's 6 months away. Oh. So I have bought a few of my buy orders. I think I've got about 50. That's fine. I still bought them cheaper than what they were in the Rust store. All I've got to do now is wait. But you're not like me, are you? You probably can't afford as much. So yeah, again, feel free to comment below. Did you end up buying some? Are you okay? Are you holding it out? We'll see. But maybe with post-Christmas, things could improve for this. But I am aware with, Christmas week 2 still, expected just around the corner, we could see some Christmas bearskin rugs. 2 were submitted. We'll see if any of them get accepted. But anyway, in that current position, it's still $1. So yeah, it went below. Or well, I can't help but assume a lot of people are quite unhappy that they bought these. Let me put it that way with their barters. So maybe it was just a little bit too high. Now, Commando SAR. So an interesting thing happened. What's that? We very randomly got Commando Tier 2 being accepted after being in the workshop for 3 months. I'm not complaining. I don't think many of us were complaining because, throughout the year, after seeing Black Diamond Collection, actually getting completed, this just kept going down and down and down and down and down in price. So, like I said, the Commando AK did go down to negative 20%, and the hoodie and pants, the Tier 3, that was doing really badly. Then this appears, and now it's basically all in the positive. Now, the SAR, unfortunately, it's down by 9% at the moment, but you know what? With my price suggestion, that's still fine. Look at the barders here. Look, they're still holding up. They're still there. Cool. Did you buy any? I did. Not too many, though. I've bought 20, so I'm fine with that. But yeah. So as long as this collection remains in demand, and we are still hoping to see some boots and gloves potentially for the last Rust store of December, or maybe the first Rust store of January 2025, we shall see. We shall see. I think he might be putting out a version 2. We shall see. Anyway, so yes, maybe we do see more of this collection. Maybe it does, get even more skins accepted, and maybe we'll potentially see a backpack and some more weapons. Oh, how did I know? Oh, well, you'll see. But anyway, as of now, that's doing a good job of retaining most of its value. And with the price suggestion of $1.20 to $1.80, yeah, that definitely seemed to be like a perfectly fine option. So yeah, Commando SAR, will it just nicely retain value, or will it actually progress and become a very nice, investment, going to positive much higher? Well, it's all based on how much the Blackout SAR sells for, I guess. But at the end of the day, that is so much more affordable and approachable. Still more than half compared to the Blackout SAR. So, all right. Cool. That worked out nicely, along with the collection. Let's see, we do see some more skins being accepted. Now let's talk about the Neon Bismuth sheet in the door. Yeah, it went down in price. How low did you go? $2.14 right now. So with the price suggestion, that seems to be A-OK. Now, there's only 81 listings. We do have one guy listing 15 there. What are you doing? Wait until post-Christmas, you fool. Anyway, so with the price suggestion of offering $1.50 to $2.20, as you can see, there's no barders near $2. People did remove their barders. I actually bought a few of these with my barder, but I did remove, the stronger barder. But yeah, this was kind of expected. Sheet metal doors this year. Ugh. But with what you see here, there's 81. It's very thin. Does that look like it could easily rebound and go up in price if we were to see a brand new deplorable being accepted? Yes, and like I did mention, there was a rug skin submitted, and I just can't help but assume that a lot of people probably would want to convert their entire base into neon bismuth. Hey, I'm sure some of you would. Feel free to comment below, yes or no. So, all right then, let's see if that potentially gets accepted for the last Rust store of December or the first Rust store of January 2025. I'm feeling reasonably confident, but with the price suggestion, yeah, I mean, some of you probably did buy a bunch of them with a $2 barter, but at the end of the day, you bought them for $1 cheaper, all right? So I feel like that was correct, and we have to wait and see, do we get any continuations? And I do feel confident the Skin Creator Wildcat will be, he will continue to make more of these skins, the Neon Bismuth collection, because it's been successful. Is that all? Yes. Right, anyway, Ultramarine Tier 3, how have you held up? Well, I suggested 90 cents to $1.30, and that's basically where they currently are. So same thing applies. Will we see Tier 2 actually being accepted? And let me just quickly showcase to you that yes, it does exist. As you can see, Tier 2 right there. And the road sign vest version 2, it had to get corrected. Why did it have to get corrected? I don't know. Oh no, you just removed the heart. Oh, I see. All right, I get it. Anyway, so it could potentially appear. Maybe we'll see a version 2 of the other Tier 2 pieces. Maybe we'll get the hoodie and pants, maybe boots and gloves. Who knows? But I feel confident with this still. If this is at its worst, that's fine. $1.30 there, and over to here, as you can see, $1.12. Obviously, this still went a little bit less, but with the potential of very nice continuations appearing just like out of nowhere, much like what happened with Commando. I mean, you saw it happen to Commando. You saw what happened with the skins going from down real bad to really, really good. Yeah. Now, again, do people like the design? Do they think it works nicely with the armor? It doesn't glow. Just have to clarify, it's not like the deplorables. This was a problem when the Tier 3 first came out. A lot of people assumed it glowed in the dark. It doesn't, alright? So, if we do see a continuation, doesn't matter. Yes, things will work out very nicely for it. Alright then, so with the price suggestion there, that seemed to be working out perfectly fine. What about the greening area large box? So I said $1 to $1.50. It's still sitting here at $2.19. So, alright, yeah. A $1.50 barter probably still could have worked out okay. But as you look at the actual layout of the barters, I mean, yeah, no, it still looks like it could have worked out. But a sheer lack of listings, you know? How much did this sell in the end? Just barely over 10,000. So a sheer lack of sales leads to a sheer lack of listings, which could potentially lead to this going up in price. If there's a potential nice continuation that appeared and people suddenly want the full collection, that's easily going up in price. 8411111114. So yeah, all right, we'll see. But it was a bit of a weird design. Like, what are these farmers growing? You tell me. Anyway, cool. So that's an interesting spot. And the price suggestion, maybe it was actually a little bit too low. Did any of you buy these? Did any of you buy them with a barter? Feel free to comment below. But yeah, at the moment, the barter is okay. It might just be a little bit too low. Nuke Room small box. So here's a funny thing, and you obviously saw it earlier. We did get another deplorable. It was the locker. Now look at the state of this collection. Huh. Now, I should point out, this isn't doing too bad, but it also didn't sell too much. So how many listings do we see in the Steam market? Only 25. And I always bring this up. On average, most Ruskins in the Steam market would probably have around 100 quantity. That has 25. So yeah, that's incredibly below average. And with a sheer lack of listings, leads to, well, price doing pretty good. Now, are people actively buying it at this price? You'd have to look at the sales, and it doesn't really look like it's selling too much, and it doesn't really look like it's going up in price at all. So, yeah, it's just there, basically. So, all right, it's not doomed, but it's not exactly doing that much. And with the barter suggestion of 80 cents to $1.20, and considering that the highest barter right now is about $1.55, well, it's fine, I guess, but yeah. I don't think people are actually managing to get any purchases through and whatnot. Have you? Again, feel free to comment below and whatnot. But yeah, I mean, it's there. But even with continuations, whilst initially this did go up in price a little bit with the arrival of the locker, this Nuke Room collection just doesn't appear to be in demand. So will it even have a nice January 2025, post-Christmas 2025? I don't know. I really don't know. It's just there. And then we have the Auto to make AK-47. Lo and behold, it's 89 cents. Yeah, that wasn't too surprising. So yeah, it didn't have any interest, unfortunately. Like, I do feel bad for the skin creator. Incredibly awkward timing after the free Twitch drop that we got. But yeah, it's what it is. And the even more unfortunate thing is the Blue Gem AK-47 has a glow sight again. They brought it back. Yeah, I saw this recently. Look in my shorts list, look on the YouTube, look at my shorts videos. Someone brought it up. I looked at it in game, and yeah, the Blue Gem AK-47 glows in the dark again. Not sure if that's going to stay like that forever, but at least you know. So, all right, cool. So basically, with the the outcomes, it was mostly predictable. Obviously, that still went a bit lower, and in some instances, maybe I still offered just a little bit too low. But overall, I feel like we're reasonably close with the suggestions and whatnot. And from here, with January just around the corner, will everything work out ever so nicely? With the player counts looking very strong, with just a little bit more players, could we see the prices work out even better? Would Christmas money make the change? I mean, I'm looking forward to it. But of course, the next week's video will be discussing the actual Complete the Sets Rust store. And as you can see, lots of skins were accepted from very notable collections. There was a big surprise with the first backpack skins ever, well, marketable ones, being introduced. And Blackout, what? Yes, that was a big surprise. But was it selling too much? Oh, that'll be for the discussion with next week. But yep, that was the November 14 Rust store. Thank you very much for watching me. Feel free to comment below if you've made any decent profits and whatnot. I'd love to hear it. And with that, catch you later. Saying goodbye.